Right. Sorry. What do you say? Yeah. Hello there. This is awesome. Travis, I'm going to the bathroom now. I ended up using Kevin. He's called Mr. And he's really good shot. He's out of St. Charles, so that's why. And he works all over the country. Very professional, very reliable. I'm going to put that guy in front of that's the telling you. Yeah, deep stuff.
Your turn.
Your daughter?
Yeah, she made it. I'm like,
All right.
Travis, we've got about, let's give it a couple minutes. We've got 22 people on the Zoom.
Okay.
You ready to go when we're ready to go?
I am.
Okay, cool.
Whew.
Adjust my audio. Can you guys, can the attendees out there in Webland, can you guys hear us okay? If somebody can chime in on the chat box and just let me know, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. What's up, McKinney? Hi, Beth. All right, we'll get like 2 minutes, Travis, and then I'll let you take it away.
All right. All right.
People to come online.
Hey,
We got somebody
Kathy.
from Australia on the call, Travis.
Yeah, Australia. We love it in Oz. Yeah, for those that are listening.
All right, buddy, let's go ahead and get started. Hey, guys, here locally, I need you guys to just keep it down here in our room. Because can you hear the background noise here, Travis?
Just barely.
Okay. Because they're all eating chips and being obnoxious. They're farting and stuff. All right, so it looks like we got about 34 people on the call. I know we've got a group over in Edwardsville, Illinois. We've got a big group here in southern side of St. Louis. So I am Jeff Pfitzer, for anybody who doesn't know on this call, and we are bringing to you this month. Last month we had Sharon Srivatsa in town. This month we've got like one of the smartest human beings I know, Travis Thom. Travis, take it away. Go ahead and introduce yourself, and as we get questions, I will chime in, or if I have anything to ask you. Otherwise, I'm going to let you run this thing.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Stefan. Way too kind. Yeah, so those that don't know who I am, I'm Travis Thom. I'm a Facebook marketing strategist for the real estate industry. I have been in real estate for a long time. I actually started off when I was about 19 years old in real estate and grew my brokerage through the power of Facebook advertising over the course of 14 years. And I grew it into 3 different companies. At the height of it, I had 271 listings. I had a team of a little over 30 people. And a lot of our focus was really using the core methodologies on Facebook lead generation, retargeting, being able to build an email list and nurture that pipeline. So today I'm going to share with you some of those things that we've learned over the past couple of years as we have become a Facebook advertising agency. And I sold off my 3 real estate companies about 5.5 years ago. And now as an agency, we generate leads all across the world. So we've generated over 275,000 leads from Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. And a good majority of those are coming from the US. We do run campaigns in London, Australia, Canada, Mexico City. But with that, we get to see what campaigns are working really well, right? What ad copy works well, what ad targeting is actually getting a good response. And we're going to share some of that data with you. But before we dive in on the nitty-gritty details, it was a little over a year ago. I was with my wife. We were driving our daughter to school, and we saw, well, my wife opened her phone and actually saw this ad for Stomp, a Broadway show that was coming into our town. Some of you may have remembered or actually visited or gone to the show Stomp, but pretty cool show. And it's for this local theater that was just around the block. Now, as she saw the ad for it, she read the details and it said, the first 5 callers will receive 2 free tickets to the show Stomp that's coming up that weekend. Now, she saw the post, and the post was posted over an hour ago. So she said, what do you think the odds are that they're still available? And I said, I don't know. It's posted over an hour ago. I mean, probably pretty unlikely there's any tickets left. So what happened was she then actually called, and they said, congratulations, you're our first caller. You're our first winner here. So that was kind of a key point indicator at that moment in time that organic reach is dead. And then lo and behold, doing some research, talking with some of my friends at Facebook, and they said, yeah, the algorithm has changed. And we have gone and actually changed the algorithm to suppress any organic reach from business pages. So before, if you had a business page, it may have 1,000 or 2,000 people on that page, and then you would create a post, you used to be able to reach a healthy amount of those people. Well, now you can no longer reach those individuals, right? It's very, very small. It's about 4 to 5% reach that you actually get. So what does that tell us? Well, a few different things. One, Facebook made these changes to be able to get more people into the Facebook ad manager to actually run ads, right? Because they're a business. Second part of it, they wanted to free up room in the Facebook news feed, right? They wanted to have more engagement with friends and family. But if you look at it this way, there's over 1,500 different stories, right? 1,500 different posts that are being posted or competing to be in your news feed every day, but only 300 of them actually make it. So that tells us that we need to move into certain types of strategies, and a good majority of them are going to be, well, paid advertising. So as an advertising agency, we use different targeting strategies and methodologies. And one of the first things we do is we look at the broad strokes, right? We look at the data and actually analyze that to see where should we be focusing on. So baby boomers, right? They own 50% of all the real estate in the United States. And they're actively downsizing now and for the next 15 years. So this is a huge targeting interest right now that you should be focusing on, right? This is the next wave of sellers. And a good majority of those children of the baby boomers are inheriting these properties, and they're usually selling. Now, Gen X and older millennials, right? They own the first home they bought. So now as they move with their growing family, they need more space, right? They need a bigger home. So these are move-up buyers that need to sell their house and then move into another one. And then also a healthy majority of this demographic are also first-time home buyers. Now, if we take Gen X and millennials together, well, it's a little over 80 million people. That's a huge market that's really coming into the housing market now, and we need to be able to target these people. So think about this when you're starting to build your targeting interests. Now, we use historical data to really identify these targeting opportunities. So what we've done is we created some data that we got from Zillow and Realtor.com and kind of paired it together. And what we saw were that there were large influential decisions that made people move towards that next life stage of moving, right, or selling. So we've broken down what those life stages were that really encouraged and influenced people to buy or sell their house. So the number one, the biggest, kind of no surprise, was they got married, right? So if they got married, then they're looking for a home that they can move in together. And then you've separated or divorced, right? These people need to sell their assets. They're splitting their assets. One's moving, one's selling. And then gave birth or adopted a child, right? That's a new thing. It's a new experience where you have a growing family and you might already have a couple of kiddos, but they need more space. And then retired. Well, these are the boomers that are retiring that need to downsize. They might have a 3,000 square foot house and now they need to downsize into more of a 1,200 square foot, maybe one story property. Well, all of these are targeting interests inside the Facebook ad manager. And if we can go through the low-hanging fruit and try to position your ad copy or your advertising to the targeted audience that is the most relevant to it, right? We have the right ad to the right person at the right time. And that's the whole methodology behind Facebook, right? Being able to use this data that we can position your ad to the right people so it's hyper relevant and you can offer them an item of value. So as we go into the items of value, right? Reciprocity and building a connection by giving value to someone online, we then have to look at what are those types of ads that really actually give value and build that bond, that connection, to build the pipeline. So we run thousands of different types of Facebook lead ads. And Facebook lead ads, if you haven't experienced them yet, or if you have, just a quick reminder, Facebook lead ads is an ad format that is designed for lead generation. And we have an example here. So on the far left-hand side, we have an ad, right? This is, have you seen these amazing new homes for sale in your area? Download the list, basically. It's a home list type of ad. Now, in the middle here, when they click on the ad flips around. It's lightning fast because it's inside of Facebook. It's inside the ecosphere of Facebook, right? Facebook loves this type of ad format because we're not taking them off Facebook just yet. And what we do is then we say, get instant access to all the photos, prices, and details. And then we list exactly what those are, right? 3 bullet points so they can actually digest what it is, remove any anxiety of what they're going to get on the other side. Now, the coolest part of this is that you pre-populate their name, email, and phone number directly from their social profile. This is a really cool ad because it basically pre-populates their information, and then they hit submit. They go to the next section on the far right-hand side here. They click that, and then we send them off to either a property search of all the properties or whatever we're promising them. This is where we're going to deliver value. And a lot of people out there in Facebook typically just go for the ask, right? How can I win the business? And so they're going to write a post that says, check out this new property I just listed. And then it goes to Zillow, or they post something along the lines of, if you think of buying or selling, let me know, or we love referrals. Those are constantly asking, right, for the business instead of giving. And Stephen Covey, author of 7 Highly Effective Habits, had a really great saying that really kind of summarized a lot of kind of marketing today, good marketing today, which is that you need to make an emotional deposit in someone before you can make a withdrawal. Otherwise, it's going to end up in a negative balance, right? So before we actually keep asking, let me have your business, let me have your business, we need to actually give them an item of value that they want that's relevant to them in their life stage based on Facebook's targeting. So all of this really is designed to really give you the opportunity to give more value, to get their information, to then give them more value, and then connect with them either email or text message or whatever it might be. So before we go into some of the actual ads, I'm going to break down the anatomy of an ad real quick for you. So up on the upper part here, right, that's the text. So when we reference text, that's what we're talking about. Typically, this area is reserved for us telling either a short story, defining exactly what they're going to be getting on the other side, and then showing them, right, the next steps of what to do. Then add creative. Right below that, ad creative is very important. That's why you should run multiple different ads and use really beautiful images that are engaging, right, that draw people in. We'll get into more on that in just a little bit here. Then headline. The headline really summarizes, right, what the ad is about. So free download, time selling your home perfectly, right? Basically, we're giving them a report, seller's market report, and then we have a call to action, right? What should they do next? Now, we're going to go through just 5 here. We run hundreds of different ones, but we don't have time to really kind of go over several hundred or several thousand. So we're just going to break it down into these 5 categories. So buyer list of homes under X amount. These work really well. So looking for a home in Austin, find your new home today, right? Download a list of the lowest priced homes, condos as low as, homes as low as. This is a really simple ad, and it gets a high engagement and a large amount of leads. So if you're thinking about, how do I get started with Facebook ads? It doesn't really have to be that complex. You can just take and use this exact ad copy here, and you're going to do really well with it. Now, a quick little kind of pro tip here for you. I was in a private meeting with Facebook. I'm an advisor on the real estate advisory board for Facebook. And in that discussion, it came out that the front curbside image of a home gets a higher click-through rate than an interior shot of a home. And then it's the flip side, right? It's the reverse for renters. Renters want to see the interior versus the exterior. So keep that in mind when you're running an ad. Try and use the curbside image as much as possible if you're promoting a listing or any type of home list, certain things like that. All right, home value ads. Now,
Travis, hold on one second. Somebody just asked what CTR stands for. Did you catch that? Click-through rate? Just making sure they saw the what that stood for.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, CTR. Good question there. Thanks, Jeff. So CTR, and forgive me, sometimes I go deep into the Facebook kind of language, right? So CTR stands for click-through rate. Now, why is click-through rate important? Well, click-through rate's important because the higher the click-through rate you get, and a click-through rate is basically someone clicking on the ad, moving forward over to the landing page, the website, or it's opening the Facebook lead ad form. The higher the click-through rate, then the higher the opportunity, higher percentage of the amount of leads that you're going to generate specifically from that ad. So we always want to get a high click-through rate. If you get a low click-through rate, right, then you're not going to head in the right direction. So strive always for a high click-through rate, and you're going to end up typically on the better side of it. All right, home value ads. Now, in the past, 4 or 5 years ago, home valuation ads were like kind of the golden nugget that everyone was running, right? You saw them everywhere. And if you were a real estate agent, you saw other real estate agents running these in your newsfeed. Well, it's not because the market was saturated with these ads. It's because they didn't know how to run them properly. So they weren't excluding real estate agents, right? They weren't running the right type of targeting. Now, these have always gotten a really high click-through rate. The ads have gotten a high click-through rate for home valuation. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants to know what their home is worth, right? I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. We all want to know. It's our largest asset. We want to keep track of it. But the landing pages and websites for home valuation are typically really low conversion rates, right? Industry standard landing page converts around 20%. Home valuation landing pages convert less than 5%, right? It's pretty dismal for whatever reason. It takes too long to load. It's not mobily optimized. The ad image is not congruent, and the continuity is kind of broken between both ad and landing page, or the text or the offer might be off, right? Something is kind of off and wrong with the landing page. So what do? Well, we decided to flip it on its head and create a Facebook lead ad that would basically get the person's name, email, and phone number on the ad. If you remember, right, we looked at the Facebook lead ads. We get their name, email, and phone number first, and then send them to the landing page. That's where, if they want to enter their information about their property, they can. If they don't, you can follow up and say, hey, thanks so much for clicking on our ad. We saw that you started the process of requesting a home valuation, but you didn't quite make it through. I'm actually making about 7 custom home valuations for some past clients in your area. If you don't mind, I'd love to create one for you. And all I need is just a few details about your property. Can you send me the property address, right? You send that via text message. And there's ways to do this with automating the process or setting it up with a Facebook Messenger bot, some of those kind of items. All right, first-time home buyers. This ad right here has done really, really well. It's generated over 4,000 leads for first-time home buyers. Now, reason why it works so well is we're really leveraging an ad copy formula that we call ADIA: attention, interest, desire, and action. Right? So we're trying to use each one of those pillars in the ad copy formula, right? Interest, desire, and action. Now, what we're doing is we're saying we've put together a free list of homes for sale, priced under $349,000 in the Seattle area. Check out these listings, perfect for first-time home buyers, and some of these even qualify for special financing programs. What we're doing at the bottom here, we're saying click here to view the homes priced under $349,000. We're telling them what to do. A large amount of the time, I see people's ads and they leave out the action part. Everything has sizzle and steak, but it doesn't have the action part of saying, do this to receive X, right? Do this to get the list, whatever it might be. You need to tell them what to do next. And we try and make sure that you have that at least 2 or 3 times. So we have the call to action, learn more button. We have the click here to view homes under there. And we're saying, check out these listings, right? So we have 3 unique call to actions on this specific ad. And that's one of the reasons why it does so well. Priced to sell now. This one does really well because we're solidifying and summarizing on the ad image itself what the ad is about, right? At just a glance. And this is what we call the 3-second audition. And so the 3-second audition basically is where you look at an ad and you know within 3 seconds what it's about and if it interests you, right? So it says affordable and attractive homes, download the list today. So when you see something like this, it's instantaneous, right? We use the word download, if you can tell, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Reason why we use the word download for this is because subconsciously what we've seen is people's thumb gravitates towards the download button or the download word more often than sign up, right? Download, it feels instantaneous. It feels instant gratification, and you're going to get that immediate win right off the bat when you touch it. Versus sign up, well, that has a little bit of negative connotation to it. If you're looking at microcopy and conversion optimization, sign up is almost a little scary, right? What am I signing up for? What's that commitment? I'm committing to something. So use language that is a little bit more natural for them to move forward. Even though they're not downloading anything, we're just redirecting them over to a property search where they can see the list of homes that are priced to sell now. Right, so move up home buyers. This is if you are targeting people that are typically parents that have kiddos and we're offering bigger houses, right? We're offering a list of homes that shows larger homes. Reason why I love this is because they're typically buying and they're selling, right? So you kind of get the double in that. There's some big opportunities there. And a lot of these families, well, they have kiddos, but they're also doing certain activities like looking online on realtor.com or some of those items. And so we'll go over some of those targeting interests in a bit here too. Now, over the past year, we've dedicated around $80,000 to a separate account just to test ad campaigns. And there's a few golden nuggets I want to share with you guys. So the algorithm stabilizes around 8,000 impressions. And so what that means is when you have 8,000 impressions, and impressions means how many times people have seen the ad, right? So you can see on the little graph here, it says reach 14,000 and then impressions 17,000, right? So reach is individual numbers. How many individuals have seen that specific ad, right? 14,000 people saw that ad. How many times they saw the ad was 17,000, right? Out of those 14,000 people, they saw it 17,290 times. Now, it takes 8,000 impressions for the algorithm to stabilize, meaning that it takes 8,000 impressions for the algorithm to say, okay, we've gone through a learning phase, we've learned a significant amount of data, and we now know who to go after, and you can actually look at the results of your campaign and start to make proper judgment and optimize, certain pieces of it. Meaning that if you need to change anything on the ad, base it off of this data, right? You want to be data driven because that's, as a good marketer, data is going to tell you a story. So if your click-through rate is low, below 1%, and you've reached 8,000 impressions, it tells you that something is wrong. It's time to change up the ad, create a new one, change the audience, kind of go through that certain process. Don't touch your ad for the first 3 days, right? Let the algorithm do the heavy lifting. It's in this learning phase, and if you start to go in there and change things, it's going to mess things up pretty quickly. So we all kind of get anxious a bit, right? Let's say we're spending $15 a day on an ad, and the first 24 hours in, we've spent $15, we see 0 results, and we start to get anxious, right? Start to kind of freak out a little bit. We might go in there and change the ad image. I go, it's probably the target. I'm gonna change that too. And then 48 hours later, still nothing's going on. Maybe 3 clicks have happened. You're going, I spent, over $30 on this now, and I don't know. So here's what's happening. In the background, it takes Facebook up to 72 hours to really go through a learning phase to find the right people. So it's sifting through the audience. It's going what's called pacing. It's doing a pacing mode, trying to find the right people in the right placements. So it's going through Instagram, it's going through Messenger, it's going through Audience Network, right? It's going through mobile newsfeed. It's going through all of these different audience placements, trying to find the right audience within the placements, and then trying to find the right people to get and take action. So it takes up to 3 days sometimes before you really see it start to stabilize and start to run the ads and get results. So just sit on your hands, don't freak out, and just let it do a thing. Otherwise, if you change it, it's going to create a Frankenstein campaign, and you're going to get some really poor results really quickly. All right, the first 3 hours of a campaign are crucial. So the first 500 impressions is typically going to determine the future performance of that campaign. So here's what we do. We focus on getting engagement in the first 3 hours. We launch the ad on the days that you have the most activity on your page. So what we do is we go up to our business page, we go to insights at the very top, then we go to the page summary, 28 days. That's going to give us the most amount of significant data. And then we're going to scroll down and hit post engagements. Here's where we're going to be able to see what days gets the most activity at what time, right? So for us, Thursdays around 7 p.m. and 6 p.m. get pretty solid engagement. So that way I'm going to run my ads on Thursdays in between 5 and 8 p.m. to get the most amount of engagement, so then the algorithm will know, okay, I'm getting likes, comments, and shares. I'm getting a click-through rate on it. It's going to then serve the algorithm and then serve the ad out to more people within the audience. Now, we've ran a lot of different ads and campaigns, and typically what we see is that if you're running only one ad, and what I mean by one ad is you have a campaign, you have an ad set, and then you have an ad, right, in that structure. campaign, ad set, and ad. If you only have one ad, meaning one ad image, then you're probably not going to get the best results. Facebook thrives off of more data. So you need to run 3 to 4 ads in your campaign, meaning 3 to 4 different images to give it more options. So before you declare a winner or a loser, in the campaign. So let's say you're running one ad and the ad image is of a chandelier of a home. And it didn't get a high click-through rate, didn't get leads, didn't get any kind of good engagement, whatever type of campaign you're running. Well, we can't really blame it on the image or the ad copy or the targeting just yet, because we don't have enough data to really base it off of what truly works, because everyone reacts differently to different media mix. So how do they digest the media, right? So we need to give 3 to 4 different ad images in the actual campaign. So we have an image of a treehouse in the backyard. We have in another ad the image of the front curbside image of a home. Then we have the image of the pool, and then one image of the chandelier maybe. That way we give Facebook the right amount of leverage to serve out those ads to the people that say, you know what, we're actually getting a really high click-through rate on the treehouse image and then the one of the exterior of the front side of the home. And that's where you have bigger opportunities to see, okay, I understand it's these 2 images that are working well. I'm going to turn off the other 2. And then I'm going to wait for more impressions before I really declare a winner and declare a champion, and make sure that I turn off the other one and let that ad continue to run successfully. Right? So high converting questions, right? When you build a Facebook lead ad, you have the opportunity to ask questions, which is probably one of the coolest things with Facebook lead ads. You can actually ask any kind of question, multiple choice, right? Do you need to sell before you can buy? Do you plan on moving into a new home? Are you pre-qualified? All of these are going to raise the threat level. So in conversion optimization, when we're actually converting prospects, right, we call this threat level. The more questions we ask, the higher the threat level. So you need to find a balance, right? We don't want to scare people off. If you've ever gone to a form and it has like 20 questions and your eyes roll in the back of your head, right? And you kind of get sweaty and you're like, I don't want to do this. There's no way I'm going to answer 20 questions. It's the same feeling for someone on the other end when you're doing lead generation. Just only use the right questions to really get the right response that's going to determine what quality means to you. So on a Facebook lead ad form, this is where you can position that, right? You can actually enter in custom questions. Do you need to sell before you can buy? And add in yes, no, multiple choice questions. Be able to make sure that it's insanely easy for them just to click on a button and say yes or no and move forward. Don't allow them to write a small essay about it, because then you're going to generate leads that are really high cost per leads, because everyone's going to go there and say, I don't have to fill it out, and then they're going to bounce and leave. Make it easier, and you're going to get a lower cost per lead. Now, another thing that we found out during this testing phase is we had 2 different clients. We had client A, who was running leads, a lead generation campaign, and he was posting content about twice a week on their business page. Organic content, right? Just posting it, not really boosting it, just posting. And then we had a lead generation campaign, generating buyer leads. Now, client B was also running the very same and similar, different market, but similar market, a buyer lead generation campaign, and they were posting content organically on their business page about once a month, right? We have one that's posting twice a week, right? Client A, and then client B posting once a month. Now, here's what we saw. Over about $10,000 in ad spend divided between the 2 of them, client A that was posting content twice a week got a lower cost per action on all of their campaigns and lower cost per lead on all of their campaigns. Client B was generating leads around $12 a lead. Now, all of the other campaigns, we went through and analyzed all of our different clients' campaigns that we could get access to. And what we saw was a very common thread, a very common theme that kept happening. The people that were posting more frequently, and they were posting quality content on their business page, were generating lower cost per leads and lower cost per actions. So when I say organic reach is dead, sure, it may not be reaching a lot of people organically, but you still need to be generating content and posting on Instagram and your Facebook business page. Make sure that you're interacting. Now, what Facebook has is what they call a page quality score. A page quality score is, well, it was behind the scenes and you couldn't see it. They just released it a couple of weeks ago, so you can actually start to see what your page quality score is now to some degree. You can't see all of it. You see about 10% of what you are allowed to see. On the back end of Facebook, at Facebook headquarters, they have their own quality score based on many different factors, right? But one of the biggest ones is how often are you posting content? Are you contributing and putting content out there? And is it good content? All right, another thing we found out is using emojis in ads gets a slightly higher click-through rate. And remember, click-through rate is really important. So we want to make sure that the ad is approachable by humanizing it a little bit, right? Focus on creating a thumb stopper. People are moving through the mobile news feed twice as fast as they are on the desktop. So we only have, right, that 3-second audition to really get their attention in just a few nanoseconds first, and then really get them to tell the story in the ad, right? So tired of stares, right? Kind of thinking that humanizes a little bit right there. And then they can tell the rest of the story. So, back in March of 2018, Facebook declared that they were going to shut down the partner categories. So for those that don't know what that is, third-party data providers like Axiom, Experian, different places where Facebook was buying and aggregating a massive amount of data. Now, this was going to be shut down over the 6-month span. So in October of 2018, Facebook said, we are basically shutting down any access to those partner categories. Well, why is this important? People kind of freaked out, right? Partner categories was providing targeting interest for home ownership, likely to move, recent mortgage borrowers, renters, some of those key things. So they removed those, but the truth of the matter is they removed over 1,500 different targeting interests, but only about 5 really were an impact to real estate. And they weren't really even an impact after we did a lot of testing. So what we did is we started running campaigns. The moment we heard this, we switched to first-party data. Right? So we had to relearn how to really target people based on their behaviors and habits and their life stage, right? The certain key characteristics that define them instead of leveraging third-party data. So one of the things that we did is we created what we call a gold standard, which is creating a lookalike audience. How you do this is you create a custom audience of your past clients. Typically a list of homeowners, right? Because home ownership, that was kind of the biggest targeting interest that people got beat up around. But I can tell you that all the thousands and thousands of campaigns that we've ran, we have not seen any difference in terms of quality of leads, quality of prospects, and campaign performance. We've actually seen the exact opposite. We've seen an increase in quality of lead, quality of prospects, and engagement by using different strategies. And what we've seen is that these are actually performing better than the third-party data that was removed. So creating a lookalike audience, you create a custom audience. You get a CSV file of all of your past clients, right? You're going to upload that into the ad manager, create a custom audience, and then you're going to create what's called a lookalike audience. Now, a lookalike audience is basically saying, hey, you've given us a seed list of all of these past people, maybe 500 or 1,000 of these past clients. And now we're going to go ahead and scour across the Facebook database, the user database, all across the nation to find people that are very similar in like kind. We're actually going to analyze 2,000 unique data points and match them to your list and the audience in Facebook that's never heard of you or engaged with you before. So what they're doing is they're finding people that are very similar. So think about it like this. If we all pretend for a minute that we are an e-commerce store, because this tool was originally created for e-commerce. Let's say we all own a e-commerce store where we sell a $300 necklace. And now we are about a year later, we've sold over 1,000 necklaces. And we want to find more people that are more inclined to buy this exact necklace at this price point. So we'll take our 1,000 past customers that bought that necklace, upload it into Facebook as a custom audience, and then create a lookalike audience out of that, right? We're going to find and broaden that audience from 1,000 people now to about 400,000 people that are very similar like kind. Facebook's algorithm is so smart, it can actually predict what you're going to do in the next 6 months, your purchase decisions based on your habits and activity. So it's going to say, perfect, we have found people that are very likely to buy the $300 necklace. Same exact thing then with your real estate clients. It's going to identify these people are homeowners. They own a home, right? The common thread between that audience. So a lookalike audience is just a way to reach new people who are likely to be interested in your business because they're similar to your best existing customers. So if you're going to upload a list of really bad prospects that have never talked to you, that only send you text messages that are a little bit maybe intimidating and involve profanity, then that's probably not the best list to upload. It's going to find more people like that. So you want to upload a high quality list, right? A list typically of consumers that have worked with you before. All right, so lookalike audiences, they're doing really well. And lookalike audiences, they're same but different than the custom audience, right? So we've got Bradley Cooper here, right? And they all look a little similar, but different. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, you go into Facebook in the ad manager. You're gonna go into audiences, and then from here, you're gonna go into the audience section to create a custom audience. You're gonna hit custom audience, and then this is where you have the opportunity to upload a customer file, right? So the customer file is where then you can upload the CSV file and go through this process of finding 15 unique points, right, within the cells. So just as an example, I'm going to upload this list here. What we're looking for is email, phone number, first name, last name, zip code, city, state, right? Those are the key ones that we really want to use. We select where it came from. Well, directly from customers or partners from a title company, whatever it might be. And then we can go through and hash the data, right? First name, last name, email. And if we have more information mapped out, the better. The more data we can get, the better, because it's going to then find people on Facebook that are from your database. And then we create a lookalike audience here from the seed list, right? Directly from the source. It's working really, really well for us. All right, so targeting with first-party data to target homeowners. Here are a few different things, targeting interests that we use a lot. If we're not using lookalike audiences, we typically use this. Remodeling my home, renovation, Home Depot, True Value, Lowe's, right? Experian, home repair, Credit Karma, HGTV, mortgage calculator. All of these are behaviors and habits that have turned into targeting interests based on what these individuals are doing online and offline, right? Their browsing habits, their conversations. Their phone is basically tracking them and saying, geofencing, I visited Home Depot, right? Some of those items. I know it sounds a bit creepy, but this is how data is aggregated, just through Alexa, Google, right? Amazon, Facebook, all of these companies aggregate data at this kind of level. But it's Facebook that's actually refined it to be so advanced that we can really target these people based on their behaviors and activities in live stage. All right, so we have a few different targeting interests here, right? Buying a house, HGTV, house hunting. Now, these are all and ors in the upper portion here, right? And or they like Trulia or Zillow, and or they are interested in house hunting, right? And or they're moving into some sort of phase of personal relocation. Now, we can say that we need to narrow this audience and that they must match at least one of the following, meaning that we're anchoring that audience to buying a house, right? What is the most important interest that we can add in there to really create and make this audience really robust? Now, income targeting is back, sorta, right? It was removed last year and now it's back. But here's the thing, you can't use income targeting. So just keep that in mind. If you see this, don't get too excited. You can't use income targeting when it comes to housing related ads. It's one of the things that HUD in a lawsuit with Facebook agreed upon, right? That they are not going to allow household income to be used. All right, create to convert. Now, there's a company that did a study that found that the ad image is responsible for up to 90% of the campaign performance. So consumer acquisitions, they did a study on 100,000 Facebook ads. And what they determined was that the ad image is, well, it's profound, right? It's a big part of the actual campaign. Because if everyone's looking at the ad image, well, we need to really have, one, a good image, two, maybe summarize what the ad is offering on the actual image itself, or turn the ad image into an animated ad, or tell them what to do next, right? Use the ad as a call to action. Essentially, create a thumb stopper. So we have a ad design team, right? In our Facebook advertising agency and our Facebook coaching and training program, our ad design team creates beautiful animated ads. Now, what we've seen is that we get a 20 to 30% higher click-through rate with the animated ads. Now, reason why is because they're attention-getting, right? They stop you in the process of moving to the next ad, and it tells a quick story, right? We can determine just by at a glance what the ad is offering. Now, you don't have to have your own ad agency to build really beautiful animated ads, right? You can actually design them inside of Facebook on your own. This is a new video creation tool. So the ad on the left-hand side here, I created this. It took me about 5 minutes, used Facebook's animated design tool, and it got a really high performance. So as you can see here, it got a 13.56 click-through rate, right? So almost 14% click-through rate. Just to kind of give you an idea, industry standard click-through rate is 1% on most Facebook ads. If you get below 1%, the campaign's not doing well. Something's wrong with the ad or the targeting. Now, if you go 1%, 2%, great. If you're doing 3% or 4% click-through rate, you're doing really well. If you're getting 7% click-through rate, you're doing really, really well. If you get this high, then it's just in a whole other level, right? You're doing extremely well. Reason why this is doing well is not because of me, it's because of the animated ad. It says, basically summarizes, see all the photos and more, and it's dynamic, right? It's quick. It's showing them, it's telling them a quick story. So this is how you create your own, right? At the ad level in a campaign, go to video, hit use templates, and then you're going to be able to choose the exact template you want. Facebook gives you multiple different templates to choose from. And you can then basically select an image or four, and it's going to give you the opportunity to create a 15-second animated ad. You can add a logo, remove a logo, the position of it, add text on top of it. You really have a quick little animation tool that takes, just minutes to create. And I highly suggest everyone take the opportunity to play with it for your listing or for a new ad that you're doing for a list of homes, whatever it might be. All right, so a few strategies that are working right now for us. Now, that's creating a walled garden around every single listing that you have. So you need to be able to lead generate from every live stage of the listing, whether it's coming soon, just listed, or just sold. That way you get the opportunity to actually build a pipeline of leads from every listing. Now, often what I see is people post on Facebook maybe 4 or 5 different images of a property with a link that then takes them to Zillow, right? You're just feeding your competition at that point, right? You're leading people off to a whole other market where they're going to then search for other properties, end up on someone else's page, and then end up in someone else's pipeline and become someone else's client. You need to protect your listings in a way. If you really want to beat or go around Zillow, this is the way to do it, right? Create a Facebook lead ad and then basically generate the lead and then send them over to a single property website. This is a great way to really generate a high quality amount of leads around every single listing you have. Branded Facebook Live, right? This can be used for community tours. Let's say you're staging a home, right? You're staging a home, you've got home stages in there, and you're walking around and you have a branded Facebook Live, meaning at the very bottom of it, it's branded. I use Switcher Studio. It's a free app that you can use. And then you download or create a PNG graphic with your brand on it, drop it on the bottom, the lower thirds there. And imagine this, right? You're walking around a staged home and you're getting pretty good engagement. You're telling people, we stage every home we list. This is our home stages. This is what we're doing, right? You're basically turning your everyday life into content but you're getting a heavy amount of brand awareness out there. So in just 22 hours with this post, right, I had almost 1,400 people view my live. Now, Facebook Lives get 10 times more engagement than any other type of video out there right now. So it's a great way to get engagement and build up conversations, right? And then be able to reach back out to those people. Consistently do this for a lot of different things. Now, one of the funnels that we're running right now is either a just listed ad or just sold ad or some sort of ad that's talking about a property, driving people to an IDX property search website. We're not generating leads yet. We're just driving them to a website. Then after that, we have a retargeting pixel, right? We have a Facebook pixel installed on that website. Now, a pixel is a snippet of code that you can install in any website you own. A pixel basically allows you to build an audience of anyone that's interacted with your website. So if you have 1,000 people that end up on that website and you have a Facebook pixel on it, well, we can then create a custom audience of those specific 1,000 people and run an ad to them. If you don't have a pixel installed on that website and you send people to that website, 1,000 people, well, those 1,000 people now are gone, right? They've kind of evaporated into the ether, never to be found again, because we can't retarget them with an ad because we don't have the pixel installed. So first, leverage a pixel. Do that. That's one of the most crucial things in Facebook advertising right now. So with this funnel, we then retarget those people immediately after, a couple hours after, with a Facebook lead ad offering a list of homes that they can download. And then we kick off text message, email, text, email, text. All right. Now, if anyone has any questions, now's going to be the time. I know that we've had a few people kind of post some things in the chat there. So let's kind of go over any questions that we might have.
Can you see those okay?
Yes. Okay, we've got...
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, from Emily. Do these ads run on Instagram too? Yes. Yep. So these ads run on Instagram. So Instagram essentially is just a placement, right? It's just a placement inside of Facebook. When you're creating a campaign, you say, I want this to run on Instagram. I want it to run on Messenger. I want it to run on Audience Network. I want it to run in Marketplace, right? These different placements. So yes, you can definitely manage that. Who manages the ad adjustments through the performance? Us, or can someone be hired to manage these ads? Shannon, good question. So yes, you can manage those on your own. And if you understand how to read the data and tweak things, then it's a good opportunity for you to do that. We can coach you or teach you how to do that, right? We have a Facebook coaching and training program that goes into that. But we do have a ad management team that does that as well. But you can also just do it on your own. It takes some learning, but you can do really well when you learn the core basics of exactly how to manage and optimize a campaign. And we highly suggest that you do. Right, who owns the data when we upload our content to the service? Yeah, so you own the data, right? That data is not going to be shared with anyone else. So when you upload a custom audience inside of Facebook, that is going to be just yours. No one else is going to have access to that, right? So your custom list is not going to be shared with anyone else because it's a customer list. Yeah, just know that. Hey, Kathy. Okay, daily ad cost per lead. What we suggest is that you spend $10 a day per 100,000 people in the audience. So $10 a day per 100,000 people in the audience. All right. Hey, Michael, how does a cooperation with your company look like? It depends. We've got several different things. If you want to find me on Facebook or talk to Jeff, we're more than happy to kind of go into details of what that offers. Hey, Sandy. Where do we go or who do we contact to get more information on having your ad team handle this? Good question. Jeff, do you want us to, hey Molly, Jeff, we could really use a seminar on managing and creating the ad from here. Yep, totally agree. We just basically scraped the surface here, guys, of Facebook and its opportunities. I just showed you a handful of strategies, but really there's so much more on a deeper level that we can really go into here. Jeff, do you have any questions or want us to talk anything?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
You can hear me? Okay. I did have a question, and nobody in the room has raised their hand yet, but I had a question going back to talking about uploading a contact list versus just running generic ads, right? So the way I look at it is you can run an ad, like a listing ad or an open house ad, and drive buyer leads, or you can take your own list of past customers who you already know you and like you, and then create lookalike audiences. If you had a choice between the two, is the obvious answer that more people probably need to be doing their list and the lookalike over just general Facebook ads?
I suggest that they do both. Reason why, so a lookalike audience is going to be a cold audience, right? Because when you create a lookalike audience, it excludes the C list. So you're not going to have anyone that knows you inside of that lookalike audience. It's going to be people that are very similar and like kind to your past customer base or current leads. But it's a cold audience, meaning the audience has never heard of you before. And you need to be able to always be doing two things kind of simultaneously. One, generating new leads, right? Exposing your brand to new people and pulling them in. So that pipeline of new leads and new audience is constantly growing. That's going to be probably a lookalike audience or other types of targeting interests that are not affiliated with you. And then the second is nurturing, constantly nurturing the leads and the audience once you've won their attention or once you've generated them as a lead in some way. So that's dripping out content to them, either through ad retargeting or emails or text messages, but being able to give them content that nurtures them, because there's a thing called priming and reminding, right? Priming and reminding methodology is one of those where you need to prime and remind your both friends and family, a sphere of influence, that you exist. And then any new leads, you need to indoctrinate them, right? And control the narrative that you are the authority figure in your market and they should trust and use you. Now, kind of a shocking statistic is that people forget about 80% of what they read online the night before. We've all done that, right? Where you go up and I didn't sign up for that. It's interesting. I didn't, remember signing up for an email for that service the next morning, whatever it might be. But think of your consumer base. People are visiting maybe 6 to 8 other websites, right? Your competition, different mortgage brokers, right? They're going to, the realtor next door to you, then Zillow and Trulia and Redfin. They're given so many opportunities to be able to find a lot of information. And most of the time, consumers today, they're very smart, they're savvy. They're going to disqualify you before you even have the opportunity to disqualify them. So with retargeting, you then have the ability to keep in front of them, even though they visited about 8 other websites in all your competition. So you need to make sure that you're doing a combination of both. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so I got a couple other questions. There's one. Do you see the one from Emily on there? Go ahead and answer that one.
Hey, Emily. So question is, do they have a top of mind campaign targeting the contact list we upload? Yes, we do. So we actually have campaigns where we nurture your sphere of influence and drip out ads to them that are branded to you. And that's one of the things I highly suggest everyone do, right? Make sure that you are aggregating your sphere of influence and nurturing them through Facebook. So hopefully that makes sense there. Jeff, I just sent you a message. Don't know if you want me to touch on a certain subject here.
Yeah, let's do that. But a couple more questions real quick. One, a couple people have asked, can we share this slide deck or can we share this recording? That's up to you, Travis.
Yeah. If anyone wants to share this with they think someone might benefit from this, please do so. This is one of those things where there's so much bad information being spread out there and kind of these myths. But part of my goal is to really bring clarity to the Facebook advertising space, because you have a lot of people that only know about 5%. Right? But they're actually, putting different information out there that's probably not true, and that's going to be muddying up the waters for people. So if you find that someone else might benefit from this presentation, please please share it with them.
Okay, I got another question here. Is there a greater click-through rate when lead capture apps have the Facebook button compared to their potential customer filling in their info?
Let's see. Let me reference that again. Okay,
It's
say that
not-
one more time.
Is there a greater click-through rate when lead capture apps have the Facebook button compared to the potential customer filling in their own info? Does that
Got
make
it. So on
sense?
a Facebook lead ad, on a Facebook lead ad, you're going to have a higher conversion rate because you are auto-populating that person's information. And then, from there, if you want to add more questions on there, that's an opportunity to qualify those prospects. What we've seen time and time again is if we're sending people to a landing page, if we're sending people somewhere outside of Facebook, Facebook has 25 unique items that they look at when you have a website or landing page. And each one of those, basically they're saying, do you meet this new standards for Facebook advertising on each one of these 25? So to kind of give you an idea, what that looks like is Facebook will penalize your campaign if you're sending someone to a landing page that takes longer than 3 seconds to load. Facebook is going to penalize your campaign if you send people to a landing page that doesn't have a privacy policy, or it's not mobily optimized, right? Or the ad image doesn't match up with the image on the landing page, or there's a pop-up video. There's about 25 unique items that Facebook looks for, and they do this with their algorithm, right? So the algorithm actually scans your link in the campaign, and if it finds that data, then it's going to penalize it. Now, you don't get an email, you don't get like a text notification that says, warning, your campaign's been penalized. What you're going to see is the campaign will suffer in terms of reach, and it's not going to reach out to many people. And then it could even eventually just turn off, or the ad will then be suspended because Facebook will say it's violated our policies. So that's, kind of what we look for in terms of conversion rate of lead ad versus landing page and auto population, some of those things. Now I'm not saying that landing pages don't work, because we still use them and we have a really high success rate on the ones that perform really well, but we meet all of those 25 unique standards, right? So, do you want to work on building a landing page, or do you want to create a Facebook lead ad? One's going to take about 15 minutes. The other one's probably going to take maybe a couple days, couple weeks, right? Some of that kind of stuff. Just depends. Hey, Michael. Michael said, we have a new law here in Germany that we are only allowed to use personal data if we have the permission in writing of that person, right? Any advice on how to handle it? So what he's talking about is the GDPR, right? The GDPR basically is a privacy of how do you protect the privacy of people in the EU for internet campaigns. So, Michael, with that, I'm not going to speak too deep on that because the GDPR at length is really conflicting. There's lots of items within it that conflict upon each other. And there's a lot of attorneys that have written articles in depth about this for advertising agencies. My biggest suggestion would be to make sure that you have the right language in your privacy policy on your website, and that you have some sort of plugin on your website that notifies people and gives them the permission to be a part of your list, to cookie them, right, or retarget them. If you're using a Facebook lead ad, well, then they're opting in, right? They're opting in, they're giving you permission in that moment if you're using a Facebook lead ad, but you still need to have a privacy policy that goes in depth and actually says, by this privacy policy, you give us permission. And one of the key things that GDPR looks for is GDPR wants to say, if this person wants to be removed from your email list or your marketing list, they have to submit in writing to you, and email you or write to you. So you have to actually give them that phrase in the privacy policy. Now, GDPR is really kind of a tricky scenario for the EU, but not for those in the US. Hopefully that makes sense. Jose, how can we sign up for the next webinars, creating custom audiences, ads, managing? Yeah, kind of great question there. I don't know if we're going to be going.
got your email address in the Q&A, and
Perfect.
I will let you know. I'll put you in the funnel.
Awesome.
A couple other, actually, you know what, real quick, Travis, before we answer a couple of questions, why don't you go ahead and touch on what the private message you sent me about the deal we were going to do together.
Certainly. So we are just coming out with a new set of campaigns, which are our buyer lead generation mini funnels. And essentially what these are we build these campaigns for you. Now, why we say mini funnels is because our typical campaigns are pretty large. They involve about 9 to 12 ads, and we're handling ad spend of either $50,000 a month or $25,000 a month, all the way down to around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So those campaigns are large national campaigns or multi-market campaigns, typically for larger organizations. Now, if you are in a local market where you want to be able to generate maybe 75 to 100 leads a month, and you don't want to have to go through the process of creating your own ads and going through that whole thing, then we're going to be offering pretty soon the opportunity to do it yourself. Sorry, not do it yourself, but opportunity to hire us to do it for you with just a couple of clicks of a button. And it's going to be a really fun campaign because you have the lead generation component, and then behind that, you're going to be able to retarget the people that became a lead with a branded retargeting ad that shows your face, your name, and a core message that solidifies what your value proposition is, right? How you can help. And it links then either back to your website for them to search for more homes, or goes to your Facebook Messenger. This is one of the campaigns we're doing. And then another one is then our seller lead generation messenger home value bot. So we actually have a home valuation bot that creates a campaign to generate home values. And then we get the person's name, email, and phone number by striking up a conversation with this advanced Facebook seller messenger bot. So these two different campaigns, two different things. We're excited to be releasing it pretty soon. If you guys have any questions, go ahead, get a hold of Jeff, and we'll be able to get you more information on this.
Yep. Okay. So cool. Awesome. I got a couple more questions here. If you've got time.
I do. I'm ready for it.
Okay. One of them is with CRM email campaigns having terrible open rates. If you upload a list of past closed clients, can you stay in front of them where they see your content that you put out, or do you have to run ads for them to see you?
Okay, the audio kind of broke up for a second. So the first part was with CRM emails having a low click-through open rate, is that correct?
Well, let me skip to the question. Really, just basically, so if you have a client list that you want to upload into Facebook, do you have to stay in front of them? Will they see your content, or do you have to put out ads to stay in front of them, basically?
You have to run ads to them, to stay in front of them. Yep.
Makes sense. All right, another question. Ryan, ask me that question again.
That makes sense. Well, he was talking about the IDX and the Facebook Pixel. Is the Facebook Pixel specific for each ad? You have to create a different IDX, and then we can attach that IDX to a single property site.
Could you hear that?
No, I'm sorry, I could not.
Okay, that's all right. I think the general question is the pixel, is it specific to each Facebook ad? I mean, the pixel is attached to the website, right?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, the pixel operates in a few different ways. The short answer is no. You have, with your Facebook ad account, you're given one Facebook pixel. And that Facebook pixel can be installed on multiple different websites. Let's say you have 5 different websites, right? A landing page, and then 3 others are property search websites, whatever it might be, right? You can place that pixel on all of those different websites and build audiences of everyone's interaction down to an actual specific page, right? So did someone interact with my seller's guide page, right? We can build a custom audience of anybody that actually spent time on the seller's guide page versus the property search page. Or did they go to my relocation page to download a relocation package, right? You can create a custom audience based off of those individuals. So, the ad itself, you can track the Facebook pixel on individual ads to say this specific action or event was caused by this ad. Those are using custom events typically, which gets kind of a little bit more in-depth and advanced. But different types of, there's the pixel that you install on the website. Then there's the pixel that just exists within your ads already. And those are going to be Facebook lead ads, videos, instant experience ads, collection ads, and then we have, conversion ads to some degree. So if someone watches, let's say 50% of a video that you're running to an audience, you can then go into Facebook and create a custom audience of anybody that watched 50% of that specific video on that ad. Or if you have someone that clicked on Messenger and ended up in your Messenger, you can create a custom audience of anybody that engaged with Messenger. So there's pixels that are already installed in Facebook and add digital assets for you. And then there's the pixel itself, where then you have to actually take that. And if it's going to be anything outside of the Facebook ecosphere, meaning websites that Facebook doesn't operate, those kind of things, you then are going to have to install that snippet of code on the back end of that website.
Is that done with the IDX, or could you iterate a little bit on what the IDX is?
What do you mean by that?
I'm finding out if we can add a pixel code. Under the
Okay, we're just talking amongst ourselves. Okay, so I think I don't see any other questions, Travis. About the buyer lead and seller lead gen, did you also mention that you guys set up the automation through like LionDesk as well?
I did not. Yeah, so we set up a little funnel basically for it, right? So when you generate the lead, we set up a automated text and email campaign that is written by our creative copywriter, so that we have proven text messages, right? Proven emails that have been battle tested out there in the market that provoke a response. So this person becomes a lead, they instantly get a text message sent out via LionDesk over to that individual and is asking a question, trying to provoke a response. Now, you don't have to set up the LionDesk. Our team does that, right? We have experts in our company that build campaigns on LionDesk day in, day out. So we build the whole campaign for you, manage the campaign, build out all the text messages in LionDesk. All you have to do is receive the leads and then engage when the lead actually responds back to one of the text messages.
And do you also integrate with Follow Up Boss?
We can, yeah. But here's the issue with Follow Up Boss. Even though we love Follow Up Boss only sends out one text message. Now, LionDesk and through the campaigns we've ran, we typically see that it takes 3 to 6 different text messages to provoke a response. So we still need to be able to send out multiple automated text messages over time to really get a win, right? To win a conversion. Otherwise, if we send out one, the person doesn't write back, and then all of a sudden we don't have an opportunity to send out more text messages.
Awesome. I think that covers it. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, or learning a little bit more about what we're doing together as on a co-branding campaign, if you know me, obviously get a hold of me and I'll just put you on our funnel to let you know when that's ready. If you don't know me and you're on this call, go ahead and direct message me on Facebook and just give me your contact information so I know how to get a hold of you and alert you. Travis, you got anything else? No? I guess that's a no? We might have lost Travis. All right. Hey, guys over in Edwardsville, Emily, if you guys want to jump on a separate Zoom here, I'll jump over there here in a few minutes. Otherwise, if you guys are like me, that's one of the smartest people I've ever listened to talk about Facebook ads.
Appreciate your time, Travis.
I think he's gone. I guess we lost him. There he is. He's gone.
Did he give a approximate date?
It was supposed to be this week, and it still might be. Really what it is, I'm gonna go ahead and end this first.
Squirrel.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna make sure I got this email address. Yeah, sure.